Good morning, Bachelor Nation. Welcome to your Bachelorette recap. This is Roses and Rosé Live, and Dean Unglert is here. A little round of applause for Dean in our meager little studio here. You guys, we have a new set, and Dean, you are christening it.
I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We needed a big name to kick off Becca Kufrin's big season, you guys.
And you had to settle on me. What a shame.
Look at Dean. He coordinated. He was like, let's make sure that we really make this look good. So we are in black. And I think that the black symbolizes the ashes that we shall all rise from. For Becca's new season.
Like a phoenix.
Yes.
We are both phoenix in this situation, sure.
I'm sure that you guys have questions and comments for Dean and about Becca's season premiere last night. Thank you again for tuning into ET Live. So leave them on any of our social medias. I will get them right here. And we're going to dive right in. Very quickly, we have a comment from Nicholas on YouTube. And he says, Joe the Grocer needs to be the next Bachelor on his own show. How could they have gotten rid of him the first episode? Joe the Grocer kind of went viral after last night.
I feel like every season there's one guy that goes home, or one girl that goes home on the first night, and everyone's like, he deserves better, he deserves more. At the end of the day, Becca sent him home for a reason. But I do agree, he's a pretty cool guy from what we saw.
It seemed like maybe we loved his intro package, but maybe he just didn't make enough of an impression on Becca.
I guess,
Yeah.
but still, it's like people are like lobbying, like last on my season it was Blake K for Bachelor, and it's like, okay, like he went home for a reason. There has to be something there.
I remember him now. Oh,
and we're gonna forget Joe's name in 2 days.
Unless he goes on Paradise.
Which Chris Harrison tweeted that he teased it a little bit.
Teased it a little.
We'll see.
Yeah, Chris Harrison was tweeting, maybe we'll see Joe, do they have grocers in Paradise? And I say yes. I mean, he was sweet.
There was a lot of love for him. From even Ari's girls, I think some other girls that were going to Paradise, I think, some people got their eyes on him.
Do you know who's going to Paradise?
I know a few people.
You know a few. Are you going to Paradise?
I am not.
Are you? You're saying you're out for this season of Paradise. What about any more reality TV for you? Would you do it again in the future?
No, no Bachelor shows.
Okay.
There are shows that I would like to be on that would be fun.
Like what?
Like Amazing Race would be fun.
Oh yes.
American Ninja Warrior would be fun.
Who would you pick as your partner for Amazing Race?
Okay, I've already got some wheels in motion on this, but I want Ben Higgins and I to be a team on Amazing Race.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be like fun? I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you guys are both pretty well traveled. I feel like you jump into global international travel pretty easily.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
So I low-key dropped the idea to Ben, and he said he's on board, and I don't think he thinks I'm taking it as seriously as I am.
But you're like contacting people.
I'm like reaching out to casting, like, hey, Ben and I want to be on this next season. Get us on.
You guys would be great on that because you're both. I feel like you have to be pretty go with the flow for that show as
It'd be
well.
fun.
Like Nick Viall might need some of his grooming stuff with him.
Which I think Amazing Race would be almost more like we want that instead of you two, but we'll see.
All right, well, Dean for Amazing Race, guys, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Share Bear on YouTube says, do you think Ari should watch Becca's season? I would love to hear your thoughts. Love you guys. Love you, Share Bear. Ari did tell ET that he might watch it. So, but that's an interesting question. Do you think Ari should watch it? How do you think people in Bachelor Nation feel about watching their exes on TV later?
I don't think many of them like it. Like I think he'll watch it. I don't know if he should watch it.
Okay.
I feel like he's kind of mentioned her often in like interviews and stuff. Whether it's him or not, like I don't know if like people are asking him about her, and like, maybe that's part of it as well. But I feel like they're always going to be kind of like tied together. So.
Yeah, well, if we want to show it, we even had a cardboard cutout of Ari last night on the premiere, you guys. That's the thing that's tough, isn't it? The reason Becca is the Bachelorette is in part because she is Ari's ex. So obviously we have to acknowledge Ari, and this guy went ahead and did it with a cardboard cutout.
This was so bad.
Was this bad? Why do you think?
I hated this so much.
Tell me why.
It's just creepy. No one wants. She was engaged to that guy for like 3 months, and now this guy's bringing a cardboard cutout of him. Like.
He could have at least like ripped it in half or something in front of her.
If I were Becca, I appreciate how Becca sent, what was the guy's name, Jake from Minneapolis? Sent him home. She should have sent the Ari cutout guy home the second he stepped out of the limo with it.
Really?
Yeah. Set the tone, set the precedent, be like, no nonsense.
But don't you think Becca's going to bring up Ari? She has to. She had just gone through it all.
Yeah, but she's definitely tired of it, and she definitely doesn't want to think about it anymore.
By the way, guys, I'm sure you've seen it. A new interview that Ari did with GQ magazine has gone pretty viral because he said that he, quote, feels 100% betrayed by the crew of The Bachelor. He is saying that his finale was in fact edited, even though Becca just told us last week, no, it was, as they said, unedited. So all of that coverage is up at etonline.com right now, including our latest quotes from our interview with Becca. Yeah, I mean, talk to us a little bit, Dean, about production, because Ari said, what you don't see is that production was standing 10 feet away from me. But to me, hearing that wasn't a surprise to me. Like, I assume, of course, production and the crew people are around you guys all the time.
Of course they are, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no question. At every moment of the entire season, they were 10 feet away from him.
Because it's a reality show.
Right. And so I don't understand. It's kind of weird that Becca's saying one thing and Ari's saying something else.
Well, Ari seems to be saying that in his mind it's edited because, production was saying, like, go talk to her again, and production was nearby, but that wasn't shown on TV. But to me, I assume with a reality show, there are behind-the-scenes crew people that you're not seeing in the footage.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in that unedited scene, they showed, like, the sound guys and the camera people and all that kind of stuff, like, when they were walking by. Mm-hmm. There was definitely, I'm sure people were telling Ari certain things, but, like, I don't see why they would have any reason to edit that in,
Well, at the end of the day, we all have free will.
Right.
Do what you want to do. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't think any of us really want to relive that finale because it was a bit of a cringe thing, so.
Well, I know, but isn't that also why we were addicted to it? Ugh. What was your thought? Should that breakup have been aired?
I do think it should have been aired.
I agree.
I don't think Becca would really... Well, she would still be Bachelorette, but she wouldn't have had as strong of a case to be Bachelorette.
Plus, I think, people forget we always see the breakup no matter what. Like, this one was a little more drawn out and different, but you always see somebody get dumped in the finale.
Right.
Somebody who thinks they are about to get engaged.
And they've all signed up for that as well. Yeah. Like, when you agree to do that show, you're agreeing to allow your life to be filmed.
Guys, let us know what you think of Ari's new interview. Larissa Ziegler, hope I say your name right, Larissa, says, how do you feel? Okay, well, we answered that. Was it too soon to remind Becca so much of Ari? So do you think that Ari shouldn't have been brought up by any of these guys at all?
I think that it was bound to be brought up, but if I were stepping out of the limo again, I would not have brought it up at all.
Yeah, what do you want your intro to be? I would not have made my entire intro about the person's ex.
Right.
Yeah.
And that brings us like down the line too when those two guys were like, you're here for the right reasons or wrong reasons, blah, blah, blah. It's like, don't go talk to Becca for your first time about something that your ex said. And I can get to that later.
Yes, no, that was dark, right? I was like, I can't believe they're bringing this to her on night one.
Night one.
It was Chris and Chase bringing this, he's not here for the right reasons. I texted a girl he dated 2 years ago, like, oh my gosh, we're all so connected at this point. I was with Chase and Becca ended up sending him home. Tell us if you guys think that she was right on that. I was with Chase, like, I don't know. I dated this girl a couple years ago. It's not really reflective of who I am. What did you think?
I don't know. He like brings the other guy over too to like sit down with them and then have like a group powwow.
It was awkward.
Altogether, it was an uninspiring first night in my opinion.
Did you think? Overall for the premiere?
Yeah.
Here's my thought. I felt, was it a little tame? Yes. I mean, in the past, we've had drunk guys jump in the pool. We've had all kinds of stuff. But did we need something that was a bit of a palate cleanser? Like, did we need it to be kind of even?
Like reset everything and start clean? I guess.
No, you wanted more. Well, we'll talk about the season promo because that made me think there will be more. Oh, wow. Lauren Bastian on Facebook says, will you ever find love, Dean?
Probably not.
That's not true. That's not true. Everyone will find love. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay, well, let's just knock it out because I know, we don't love to get into this. But guys, of course, our lovely Dean, who, by the way, runs an amazing podcast called Help I Suck at Dating, did recently go through a breakup. So what happened with you and Leslie?
Leslie's a great girl. It's just one of those things where sometimes two people aren't meant to be together. And I think it was one of those things, too, where it shouldn't have been... Neither of us wanted to drag it on longer than we had to, in the sense, like, if this isn't your forever person, then, you should kind of nip it in the bud. And, 4 months to end a relationship is better than 12 months if it's not going to amount to, like, a marriage and kids and all that kind of stuff. But again, I still think the world of her. I think she's a great girl, and I hope the best for her.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I mean, I think you guys are two great people. And how did you, because a lot of people talk about when you're on these reality shows, you're in like a bubble. Was it just getting out in the real world? And I feel like you guys were kind of thrown into a lot because, you're both traveling and she was kind of moving. How did you figure out, okay, things were going well in Winter Games, but maybe this isn't the forever thing?
There's definitely, you kind of get taken back to earth after the show where you have to realize what it's like to live your life outside of that kind of stuff, and you're not like spending every day in a house with each other. That wasn't really an issue though, like especially in the beginning, we definitely like made time for each other and all that kind of stuff, and I don't think we didn't make time for each other later on. It was just a matter of, I don't know, just difference of opinion on like just as people. But like I said, she's a great girl. We saw each other at a wedding like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and things are perfectly fine and amicable between the two of us. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
what
because she
happens.
lives in LA now. I remember her telling me at Winter Games she was moving to LA. So
My roommate said he ran into her at the grocery store that we shop at. So I guess she lives close enough to me in Venice.
okay, so you're not talking all the time, but things are good.
Oh, we don't talk at all. But like I said, we bumped into each other and it was perfectly fine. Like there was no bad blood or anything like that.
Okay.
Which is great.
So, yeah, of course that's great. Having been through a couple TV romances and all that you've kind of been through in the past couple years, has that helped you figure out, like Lauren says, will you ever find love? What do you feel like you are looking for here? Has that helped you narrow things down?
Oh, it hasn't helped me at all.
It hasn't.
No, it hasn't hurt at all. It's adding a new dynamic to it that I'm unfamiliar with, that we're all kind of unfamiliar with. Like a year ago, before my season 1, episode 1 aired, whatever, I could like make a dumb decision or be an idiot, and like the only person that has to deal with the consequences are me and like the person that I affected, like whatever, like a friend or whatever it is. And now there's a million people that are like, oh, Dean's an idiot. And I'm like, yeah, I knew that. I was an idiot a year ago. I'm gonna be an idiot in a year from now as well. Now it's just like a lot more public, I guess,
Okay, so you've one thing you've learned about maybe what you're looking for in a relationship.
I keep working on my communication. I think like my entire life I've been very like introverted and very reclusive and like just kind of like I want to like be like alone a lot of times and like focus on myself. Well, not like focus on myself, but I just like I understand the importance of communication, especially in today's day and age when there's like a lot of like rumors circulating or like I'll go somewhere with a group of friends and then people are like they're dating now and like I have to like over communicate and be like no, like we're not dating, like this is just a friend, whatever it is. I don't know.
Does that mean that it's almost sounding like you put all the blame for your breakups on yourself, kind of?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Well, I think, especially in this situation, like I'm the only one that's able to speak on it, so I think that the only thing I can do is really blame myself for the things that went wrong.
Okay.
And like I do have a lot of growth to do. I'm, not that age is an excuse, 27, I think that I still have a lot of discovery to do within myself before I'm really ready for something like that, and that's a hard thing to come to terms with. Like you think you're ready for a relationship at any time in your life, and then you slowly begin to realize that you're not really necessarily as ready as you thought. And I've always thought like, no matter if you're ready or not, if the right person comes along, then that's when you'll be ready. But I think, you need to kind of be at 100% before you're able to welcome in another 100% sort of thing. So,
okay.
So that's where we're at.
So you're taking all that blame on. That's a heavy burden.
Put all the blame on me. And that's just been a cycle in my life for the past 9 months. I'm happy to take the blame.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we have seen that growth in you, though. I mean, you're kind of reminding me of Ben Higgins a little bit because he talked about how, you've got to take ownership in a breakup. And so this is growth. You're moving forward.
Yeah, I guess.
Help I Suck at Dating is Dean's podcast.
Tune in.
Help him out, guys. Jessica on Facebook says, Dean, a lot of people are comparing Blake to you. How do you feel about the comparison?
Which one is Blake?
Blake was rode in on an ox, pink jacket. She really liked him.
This guy.
Yeah. I don't know if I see that. Maybe just because he's nice and peppy?
He definitely speaks a lot more eloquently than I do. He doesn't stumble through his words quite as much.
Again, so hard on yourself. Bryden Meyer says, yes, the guys referenced Ari way too much during the night. And Cindy on Facebook says, Dean needs to be the next Bachelor. Well, you said no more Bachelor shows. What if you got offered Bachelor itself?
No.
Why not?
I don't think so. No, I don't really think so. Although I would like one of my friends to be the Bachelor.
Who?
I don't know, like if like a Peter or I don't know, anyone that I know goes back on Bachelor, right? And then I could cameo like maybe a couple episodes. That way I could say that I was on Bachelorette, Paradise, Winter Games, and Bachelor.
Checking all the boxes across the
cycle.
franchise. I love it. Okay. Also want to ask you a little bit about, okay, so yeah, we had the guy who brought in Ari, the cardboard cutout. We just saw Blake. Blake and Becca really seem to have a connection. You know what I noticed? She was saying things about him like that they were on the same wavelength, that they really got each other. And I guess it made me think about, on this show, they always say follow your gut. Do you really have to? Because you're not in like normal situations with people. So is being on the show and figuring out who's the right person for you a lot about following your gut?
Well, that's the thing with Joe, is like they have
Grocery store Joe.
the grocery store Joe. She spent 2 minutes with these guys.
Yeah.
And so all you can do is follow your gut.
That's all you got is that gut
For
instinct.
now, at least. Like obviously, like weeks
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, you have a better idea of who these people are, especially after like your one-on-ones and then eventually the fantasy suites. But for the first night, like these guys literally have 4 minutes tops with her. So yeah, I think all you can do is follow your gut.
Is that all you get? Even though, because we see them kind of interact with her a little bit throughout the night. Like all in all, how much time do you get with the lead on night one?
So with Rachel, I think we had remember like the sandcastle thing? I think we were literally sitting down in front of that sandbox for 90 seconds. maybe tops.
Really?
And so it's like and then you get up there for the rose ceremony and you're like, I don't know where I fall in line with the rest of the guys because I only had 90 seconds, but every other guy only had 90 seconds with her as well because she's running around doing interviews and like running from spot to spot with all these guys, and the night's long, but you still have 30 guys that need to talk to her. So
Gosh.
I think all you have is your gut instinct.
Okay. Speaking of 30 guys, I love how every single premiere there's always the discussion of how many more guys are there going to be? How many more guys are we going to get? I'm like, you guys have watched the show. It's always about 30 people. Why is that a question?
There's
Why
like
are people
10
wondering?
people in the room.
Yeah.
There's enough people here already.
Like, call it now. ABC, you don't have a number of episodes you have to fill or anything like that. Another standout from the night was Garrett. So we can show some of the footage of Garrett getting the first impression rose from her. He made an amazing entrance in a minivan. And she said she was smitten with Garrett.
I'm not impressed by Garrett.
Tell me why.
I don't know. He kept saying one thing. I can't remember what it was, but at the minivan, he was like, he kept saying like that's cool or something like that, and it just rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I was like, I don't know about this guy.
Do you believe the minivan thing was sincere? He said, I want to be a good husband and dad. I showed up in a minivan.
I'm sure that's sincere, and I actually do really respect. So he was the only one that like took her from her spot as the Bachelorette outside of the mansion and was like, hey, come over, and except for the other guy, like made her meet him 50-50.
Social media participant guy, what a move. He said, you need to meet me 60-40. I was not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I was glad she sent Camille home.
But no, I like the minivan thing was good. I think Garrett, we have a lot more to learn about him, but I'm not sold on him yet.
Well, there's a little bit of controversy about Garrett this morning. Did you hear about this?
I am somewhat familiar with it.
Okay. Basically, some screenshots allegedly from an account on Instagram, allegedly run by Garrett, are showing him liking some questionable memes and photos. And again, it's not like this was a verified Instagram account. I think it's even now been deleted. So it's hard to tell, was this Garrett or not? Where did these screenshots come from? I guess I wanted to ask you, like, what social media directives are you given once you're on the show? Are you told like be careful what you like or don't like?
Oh,
because
zero, no.
Zero. Because on your season there was some controversy with Lee and some past tweets of his as well.
I think that people just do a deep dive on your social the second your like cast bios get announced. I remember, it's like those like Bustle or something like wrote articles like Dean went to a wedding 3 years ago with this girl. Who is she? And I'm sure like they do the same like deep search of like things that they've liked and all that kind of stuff. But so what did he was like liking?
He was seeming to like really controversial memes or posts about different like policies and stuff. It's just we don't even really for sure know if it was his account, so it's hard to tell.
I don't know. There's definitely no guidance. Well, at least from our season, there was no guidance from ABC or Warner that was like, hey, go through your Instagram and your Twitter and scrub out of everything that might be like, I don't know, bad. But there's no like, they're never like post this, post. Well, they kind of were like that for Winter Games a little bit, but I don't know.
Are you given any different advice? Like, are you given any advice before you go on the show and then versus once filming is over?
No.
None.
No.
Okay.
I liked. My Instagram is weird because I only post like once every couple months, and then post show it's like, oh, like I guess I gotta start posting more now. But people like found out about like I got like arrested a couple times as a minor, like for like minor possession of alcohol, and people were like, oh my god, this guy's a criminal. Like, like people do like to make a big deal out of things that aren't necessarily the biggest deal. I don't know again like maybe what Garrett's doing, but people definitely like to build things up a little bit more than they should be. I
wondered because, yeah, I mean, once you're going on a show, you would maybe think, okay, maybe I should look at my own Instagram and kind of go through it, but it's hard to like, we all put out a lot of content. It's hard to scrub through all that.
Oh, especially like the things you like. Like I can't go back and think, I mean, granted, all the pictures I like are like puppies and all that kind of stuff, but so there's not really any room for controversy there.
Big controversy.
Fortunately. But I did go back and like I deleted the pictures of like me with my ex-girlfriend, mostly because like I didn't want people like going to my profile and looking at her and like, going to her profile and like messaging her, like that kind of stuff. I think that there should be like a diligent scrub of things that you don't want people to like, I don't know, not necessarily find, but like just creep on, you know?
Yeah, because it can get blown out of proportion. Yeah. Cindy on Facebook said Garrett is trying too hard for her. Interesting. And Hannah from YouTube says, well, Dean wouldn't need to be the Bachelor unless he pulled an Ari and came back years later. Ugh, I just mentioned Ari.
Come on, Hannah. No more mentions of Ari.
No more mentions. Okay, want to go through a couple more things with you. So we had Garrett getting the first impression rose. Becca said that she was really connected to Blake. Who else were standouts for you? Like, who do you consider your front runners at this point in terms of who Becca will pick?
The only person really that I like is Colton.
But is it like who you liking versus who you think Becca will like? Like, you think Becca's into Colton?
Yes.
Okay.
But Becca's clearly into Garrett as well. But my personal, if I was the Bachelorette,
oh,
which maybe one day.
You're into Colton. If you really want to get through all the franchises.
And Colton's the only one that I know. I've gotten lunch with Colton. I met him a couple times, and I know that he's a great guy. So maybe that's the only reason that I this guy's nice.
Well, then can you address what was told to us in the promo, which is that Colton says he's a virgin, but the other guys don't seem to believe him?
Yeah, I think the other guys are a little whack on that. I've had a couple conversations with Colton about that, and I think he's aware that that's going to be a storyline this season. And I mean, I fully believe him. I don't see why there's any reason to think he's lying.
It was kind of crazy that he said it, and then I think it's Jordan, the male model, who's like, there's no way. But I mean, I feel like that would be something that would be pretty easy. Like if you were lying about it, an ex could just come forward and say, no, he's less. So it would be pretty easy to disprove.
I don't know. And he like says this, or he mentioned this thing to me the other day too. He's like, whenever I get uncomfortable, like I giggle, and so like you'll notice him like, I'm a get virgin, like he kind of giggles a little bit. It's not like a joke. He's just like, that's his like defense mechanism. I mean, I believe him. I don't see why not. He seems like a great guy. He's like involved in nonprofits, and everyone that I've met that knows him as well has spoken very highly of him. So
Colton has your stamp of approval.
He's the only one so far.
He's the only one.
But again, he's the only one I met. And Joe, we'll give Joe the stamp of approval.
Grocery store Joe, even though no one's met him. We saw him for about 90 seconds.
Ask me in September after Paradise Days, and I'll give you another
on Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. So the promo did look pretty crazy for the season. We see Becca crying. We see Jordan. This looks like a 2-on-1 to me. Jordan's kind of going at somebody. Becca is crying and saying things like, he just did to me what Ari did. So
what do you think of Jordan? I don't mean to interrupt you, but
let's talk about it. I think Jordan's giving us some good TV, so I don't have a problem with Jordan right now.
I don't like him.
You don't? Why not?
I don't know. It's funny because Nick and I did that recap thing, and Nick loves Jordan. He's like, every like soundbite he has is hilarious. Yeah, Nick Viall. And I'm like, this guy, just everything he says just drives me crazy for some reason.
But it's all sound bites. He's saying things like, I spent 6 hours hand selecting my outfits.
Exactly.
I'm being a male model is tasking. You've got to be
salt
gym,
salt
spray tan. I mean, he's a sound machine. It's a reality show. That's why I'm into it.
I mean, I guess for that reason alone, I think we can safely assume he'll be around for a while because he will be giving the sound bites. But I don't know.
So you felt like a tame premiere. Did the season promo give you hope for the season? How'd you feel about the promo?
I think it'll be exciting. It'll be fun to watch. I think it'll be better than The Bachelor, right? The bar was pretty low from that one, so.
That's fair.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that Jordan will be the main villain for this season, and like you said, Colton's virgin storyline will be a main central point as well. But I'm excited to start maybe liking more of the guys because right now the fact that it's just Colton is a little concerning.
Okay, all right. Well, who do you think slayed in the premiere? And by slayed, I mean like who had a great entrance, who made a good impression, maybe other than Colton, if anyone?
A great entrance.
We had Garrett in the minivan. We had the choir.
The choir was good, but not the best.
Not the best, okay. We had the chicken suit guy.
No, didn't like the chicken suit.
Didn't like chicken suit. Who do you think is, quote, not there for the right reasons?
None of them are there for the right reasons.
None of them are there for the right reasons. You just said you defend Colton, though.
No, I'm just kidding. Becca's there for the right reasons. I believe in Becca. I think that it's funny, too, because we're always going to criticize like the decisions that she makes, like sending Joe home on the first night, picking Garrett, who potentially was liking these controversial pictures on Instagram, whatever. She's the one that knows these guys better than any of us. We get a 2-hour window to meet 30 guys, so it's like we don't know anything about them. Like we glorify Joe even though we don't know anything about him. So I think that's like the one thing that we have to keep into consideration is Becca knows what she's doing for herself, and that's the only thing. So
I don't think that anybody can be there for the right reasons anymore. Like you're going on a reality show in the first place. I have no judgment on why people are there. I think you might be doing it for an adventure. You might be doing it for a little bit of a career purpose. I don't know. I'm over that phrase. I love the show, but I'm over that phrase.
So what are the right reasons to you? Just to go on TV and have fun?
I mean, Sean and Catherine Lowe, who are kind of the franchise's golden couple, both have said they just went on the show to like maybe see the world and meet some people.
Yeah.
And now they're in love and have 2 kids.
Well, I think there's definitely a big appeal of just a fun experience.
Yeah.
Like it's a once in a lifetime thing that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So that's a right reason.
So are you glad you went on The Bachelorette?
Yes.
Okay.
I get asked that question, and I kind of waver on it. Like yes, sometimes not so much. But I'm very blessed to have been given an opportunity to go on that show, and it's kind of led to a lot of amazing things, like sitting here next to you.
Thank you.
But there have also been some drawbacks.
Sure.
But I think if anyone ever asked me, like, do you think I should do it? Like even my friends, some of my girlfriends are thinking about going on the next season Bachelor or applying or whatever. And I always say, yes, like do it. Like it was an incredible experience. Just like make sure you keep your wits about you and make sure you act, authentically and all that kind of stuff. Which I felt like I did, granted bad decisions and all throughout the whole, ups and downs. But it was a great experience. So I definitely think it was a good
So the
thing.
act authentically thing is interesting on the heels of Ari claiming this unedited or unedited thing. So do you think that if you go on there and you act authentically, like who you are is going to come across, or is it possible that do some people experience just getting completely edited into something else?
Some people do, but then there are also people that think of themselves a certain way, and then they see themselves played back on camera, and it doesn't coincide with what they think of themselves, even though it is. But they're just like, that's not what I think of myself, so I'm gonna blame editing because that's not who I am, you know. And I've seen like some people, both from like my season Paradise, and a little bit of Winter Games, where they were like blaming editing, and I had an issue with editing a little bit on Paradise, just like it maybe blew it up a little bit more than it was. But at the same time, I was still doing all those things and saying all those things, so it's like they can't really edit it to alter everything that you're saying and doing, you know. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're a good person, you go there with the mindset of just to like be friendly and see what could potentially happen, then you don't really have anything to worry about.
Okay, I like that. A rude awakening of who you might be presented to you via reality television.
And it's hard. I mean, it's hard to see it from like a third-party perspective
Yeah.
because, especially a lot of these guys, like I would say 98% of them have never seen themselves on television before, and then you see yourself on television. It's just a perspective that you're not used to seeing yourself in, like a new light. And so it's like, that's not right because that's not who I thought I was, even though it is. It's like, I don't know, one of those things.
Interesting. I like this insight. Again, his podcast is called Help, I Suck at Dating. Jessica via Facebook says she cannot deal. He reminds me of Blake, E, and Rob. Who's Jessica talking about? I think we're missing a name
I think
here.
she's talking about me
No,
or Jordan.
I think she's maybe talking about maybe Jordan. He reminds me of Blake, E, and Robbie mixed
There was
together.
a couple things on Twitter last night that was like my Robbie Hayes' picture plus my picture equals Jordan or something like that.
Interesting.
With some not so kind words in the
Oh.
captions, like douche 1 plus douche 2. I don't know if I can say douche, but I said it 3 times already. So it's
I would not agree with that. I did think it was funny that Camille was dubbed social media participant because that was even a step down. Do you remember on Paradise, Robbie was social media influencer?
Influencer.
So now we've gone down to participant. Now we're just bringing in the participants.
it's a participation medal.
Yes. Oh, yes. The model Jordan is, Jessica can't deal with him. Well, I think you're right that he might be a little bit of a villain. What do you think about, it seems like from the promo, Lincoln might become a villain, which surprised me because he's been like such a nice guy to this
What
point.
was the villain part in the promo?
It was that somebody was saying he's a pathological liar.
Oh.
I don't know. Do you know anything about
He's
that?
a Brit, so I don't know if we can really trust any of those.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
That accent's really throwing us off. Okay, cool. So
Okay, cool.
you like Colton. You don't like anybody else.
Not yet.
Not yet. Who do you think you could grow to like?
Um,
Oh, wow. He's just a Colton fan. Colton, if you're watching, Dean is just,
Clay seems like a big teddy bear.
he seems very sweet.
He does seem very sweet.
I think sometimes the guys that are too nice get a little lost.
Clay gives me. Do you remember Matt from my season? Matt was one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my entire life. Very soft-spoken and very family-oriented. And Clay reminds me very much of that. And I think everyone from my season will agree that Matt's one of the nicest guys that we've ever met. And so I'm sure Clay in the house is like very, looked very highly upon, and like everyone likes him. I just don't know if that really translates well to this environment because you have to be a little more outspoken and like be willing to like fight for time and all that kind of stuff. But I like him. He seems like a nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, help I suck at dating. Does that mean you're single right now? Are you still sucking at dating? in
I
general?
am still sucking at dating. There was a brief stint where I didn't suck at dating for a while, and now I suck again. So.
Okay. I think I saw a quote from you. You said you were single AF. Is that still the case?
Not my words. It was
Oh.
Mark, one of the producers, was like, "Would you say it's safe to call yourself single AF?" And then I said, "Yes, I can qualify myself as single AF."
Okay.
Yes. After Leslie and I broke up, I have realized that I'm going to take some time for myself. I've been going to therapy, which has been very helpful. I just need to spend some time being more that's the thing too, is I always thought that I knew what I wanted in a relationship, and then I realized that I wanted different things in a relationship. And it's just not really fair for me to bring someone into a relationship when I'm still uncertain 100% of what I need to be happy in a relationship. So we'll see what all unfolds with this.
It's always good to take time for yourself. So, a therapy, does that mean like traveling? What do you see as the next few months for you?
What do you mean? So what?
Well, taking time for yourself, is that like just focusing on your job? Is that sticking around here in California? It seems we're not going to see you on Paradise, so what does your summer look like? What does taking time for yourself entail?
I've gotten involved in some nonprofit organizations around LA to help me keep my mind occupied. I've been reading, meditating, The therapy's been helpful because I've never really had like an unbiased resource to just like go and talk to and like be like, hey, what do you think of this? How should I react to this? Like, why does my brain work this way, et cetera, et cetera. Beyond that, I have been like just pursuing different, I guess, hobbies or interests. So like I've been like working on getting like a pilot's license. I've been working on getting a scuba certification. Just like things that I've always been
Air
like,
and sea and land. Here he comes.
just things where it's like I've always wanted to do these things, so now I'm going to like do them because if you need to, you want to continue to figure out what I'm interested in. So
awesome, and spending a lot of time with some friends that you've made through the franchise. You and Jared and Nick are doing some really funny recaps of Bachelorette. Are you going to continue that all season long?
Yeah. So what Nick is calling it is the Bad Chiller, which I guess if you say it quickly, it just sounds like Bachelor.
Oh.
You know? Yes.
I got it.
Yeah, we're going to recap every episode. We're going to hopefully have you on one of these episodes.
I love it. As long as I get to wear a wig. You guys, I mean, where'd you get those wigs?
We have at least 24 wigs. So that's pretty fun. It's just kind of like a silly thing that we decided to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but it's fun, so we're going to keep doing it. Yeah.
And we're figuring things out. Wendy on Facebook says, what about Ashley and Jared? Well, what about them? They seem very happy, Wendy.
They're so in love with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to meet Jared at the podcast after this, and I'm going to grill the heck out of him about what his life is like now that they're in an open relationship.
Yeah.
Well, publicly open relationship.
Right.
How does that work? I'm super happy for them. Like, obviously, I had been friends with Ashley for a while, so I knew her feelings towards Jared, and we obviously saw it through like Paradise and all that kind of stuff. And Jared and I's friendship is a little bit newer, but ever since even him and I first met like 6 months ago, he always spoke very highly of her. So it's nice to kind of like finally see them like come together and be able to just love each other.
Love. Isn't love great when it comes out of this franchise? It's just so wonderful. Okay, you guys, we are going to wrap down here because, Dean's got to go film his podcast. So check it out. And thank you so much for watching with us. We will have a new episode of Roses and Rosé that's highly focused on every single minutia of last night's premiere up this afternoon. And every Tuesday morning, we'll be here recapping The Bachelorette. So thank you again for tuning in. And, we're going to try not to say let's do the damn thing and try not to mention Ari and just love and support Becca and her season.
Woo!
Thanks for being here, Dean.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.